button. Hello. How's everyone doing this fine holiday season?
Yeah, it's always holiday.
Thanks, Matt.
Just,
I was like,
you said you're
how
ready.
distracted? Yeah, I was, and then I got distracted by, online stuff.
I don't.
Yeah, I
good
know
morning,
that.
Angela. I don't. Sorry. Good afternoon. I don't see you as listed in the people attending. Are you? Oh, I see. There's too many, and you actually have to scroll off. There you are. Oh, we even have
No.
video. Good. Okay, you're there.
You can have them all showing if you want to. If you set up a different. I think
That's fine.
gallery
I can get 4 across the top, and I don't need to see myself.
That's true.
Cool. So, what do people have going on? Pretty much. I guess I can talk through these, or if anyone else has anything really pressing they would like to talk about instead, we could talk about that too.
Yeah, I like to talk about the anniversary to get the data, if that's possible, into ingest from the API. That's a big thing. If that's
right,
possible,
so
that would be wonderful.
That's this story here. So my thinking on this one, and maybe this is a good forum because like Joe or Rob probably know the answer to this. But if there's some fairly old point cast, I think that would be a good place to start with this. Like if there's a point cast somewhere in Fukushima that's basically been there for the past 10 years, I think that would be like a really good thin slice for this story to basically say, let's find that point cast, let's dig up all its old data, and let's get that into ingest so we can have one clean, 10-year
why a
CPM
point
line.
cast?
Just because they report all the time rather than the BGEIGs, which would be drive by drive.
The NGEIGs are older.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
NGEIGI then.
But are there any still NGEIGs around that are still in use?
Yes.
Okay.
I know the one in Taipei is still online. There's one in Kyoto that's still online. I don't know where the others are.
Is it
But
maybe
there should be, I would think, half a dozen.
They're easy to find. If you just filter them out, you can see them in Grafana.
They
That's
also
what
have
Matt's
only
doing.
one sensor, which makes it a little bit more straightforward, I think.
Agreed.
That's true. But
So-
be aware that the NGEIGis has an LND 712, I think. The smaller tubes. So
No.
not the CPM will be lower.
No.
So
Nope.
they don't have to. That's true. No.
No, all the ones I know of have pancake tubes.
Really?
Which ones have a small?
No, you're completely right, Joe. I was mistaken. There is only one with a small tube, and that's the one he connect. That's correct.
Okay.
Very correct. Yes. Because they make it very compact. They didn't want to drill holes in the house there. So I built the LND, the small tube inside and close to the window. So
I see.
So it looks like this is probably it, right?
can you switch
That's
to
sensor
the
40.
Oh, that's not a good one to choose.
Why's that?
It's had more than one sensor and 3 control boxes in its history. So it's actually a point cast now, and it's not an NGEIGI. I don't know why it's showing up in that list. Probably because it was an NGEIGI.
Yeah, I mean, I think ultimately TT-Serve probably decides what the final URL is going to be through that logic that it has, where it tries to figure out the device you're in. So,
what's one that's been really? You want one in Fukushima because you want to see a trend line for the anniversary?
that's what I was thinking. Wouldn't it be nice to say like, hey, look, 10 years of data. Like, if we can find a downward trend, that would be good. I mean, we've seen downward trends over
What about
3-year
that
intervals.
one
So.
in Aizu?
The one for June, yeah.
That's a point cast. Oh, that's an NGEIGI 101. Where's that?
No, we should see in just a second.
At the office, I think.
I thought they had a point cast at ICE.
They have both, I think.
Oh, could be.
I'm not super
If you
familiar
go to
with.
more sensor data, you can see the history for a year. So that's what Interesting.
Yeah, we should have like 3 years here. And then so what I
Something like
think could be nice is if we can pick one, because the biggest problem I suspect we're going to run into with this is like deduplication.
Oh,
Mhm.
that one looks like it got moved.
yeah, sure. That looks sure that it get moved.
Not according to this. Maybe it got moved very like in a very like it didn't make any big location jumps. If it did, we would see more dots. So
Yes, that's correct.
yeah,
Well,
maybe
but
it's
it
just
probably
like
got moved
inside
from
to
indoors
outside
to
or something.
outdoors.
Yeah. So anyway, this is what I was thinking is it would be
Oh,
nice.
that's right
if-
where Emre is.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
That's in the office.
So maybe it was inside and then it got moved outside. It's not like it looks like a huge jump, but I mean it's like 40 to 47.
So Matt, you're
Okay.
saying that their values past that, but we only have last 5 years as an option? But it has
No, it's in
values
a
all the
different
way-
database. So this database can't see the measurements
That's the
table, which is what
whole
we need to
point
fill
of
out.
what you're talking
Yes,
about.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yes. Okay,
Exactly.
got
That
it.
was my point.
I'm here now. I'm
Yeah.
here.
So
It's
like this
from
is where
2017.
ingest started basically, and it was
Got
like a new database with a flexible data model. And so what we were thinking would be nice is since we do have data over in the API database, we just can't query it efficiently. Wouldn't it be nice to get that data into this database that we can query efficiently, and then be able to build, you know, like a 10-year graph of some sensors that might be interesting to look at. And in the interesting to look at category, I think we should probably be looking for something that's been like pretty stable, mostly unmodified. You know, if we have a sensor that fits that description, let's use that. If we don't, let's use the closest thing we have.
Yeah, 40. I think 40 is not a bad choice. Then it's had the same tube all of its life, and it's like the second one we installed, but it's had different controllers. But I don't know how. I'm a little uncertain as to whether we, you know, at one point we changed the controller without changing the number. You know, so it still was NGAIGI 40. And maybe when it failed the last time, Peter and I, we put a point cast box on it and disabled one of the channels. We may have given it the same ID just because, you know, we didn't change the tube, we just changed the you know, the digital part.
You know, we
Yeah.
might be able to just is there a way to flag things that are changes like
Not
moved
really.
indoors or tube
Certainly not in the old
change?
database. No,
Well,
that's
I
an
had
open
an
issue as to
NGAIGI
like
here
how we
too
would
for
like
a
to do
long
that.
time, and one of the things I didn't like about changing into PointCast was that we lost continuity, because now you can either see that NGAIGI, which where the data ends in like 2015, or you can see the PointCast where the data starts in 2016, and has a 1 year gap because it was offline and I couldn't get it working again. But I think we prefer one that's in Fukushima, because in case that's the only one we get transferred, we'll have something for the anniversary that shows a downward trend line.
Yep.
The other one would be the one in Tomioka, which started out and we installed. That was the one of the that was like the second one up there, second one in Fukushima, and it was an NGAIGI at first. It's now a PointCast. We have video and stuff of the installation, and it started out at like 7 microsieverts an hour, and it's down to about 0.5.
So what's helpful in resolving the story? Is it moving it to the top and saying that this is our priority, or is it that we identify the specific monitor, or is it like what is the most helpful thing that we could be doing? Because otherwise we go into the realm of reminiscing.
Let's just pick one and decide that we're going to work on it until it's too hard.
So that's my thing is if we can pick one sensor, I think that'll simplify the story quite a bit. Because I kind of touched on this a couple minutes ago, but I think the big thing we're going to run into as far as like difficulty here is the fact that at some point along the line, we basically set up TTServe to publish into both databases. And so what we're going to have to do, like this was nice because we could see everything, but we can't just blindly import all the data from one to the other, right? Like we're going to have to identify the overlap and then slice that off. And I think if we can hone in on a single sensor, it simplifies that situation a lot, because rather than looking at like, you know, maybe 50 different time series, we're just looking at one.
A single sensor or a single location?
I
One
would go with
location, two sensors, right?
It's probably the easiest thing, like a single ID.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because like I was just thinking, NGAIGI 40, there's only ever been a single pancake there, but it might have changed ID. So that location is I don't think there's an ideal candidate for this project.
Can we,
As
can
close
we
as we
have-
can get.
Yeah, just let's,
I'm
let's just
wondering,
pick
is there anything
one.
that Saksham did that can help with this? Anything?
He was all ingest data, so he wasn't looking at anything old enough to fit into this story. His code might be useful. I haven't had a chance to look at it yet since he just dropped it like last week. So
Yeah.
But Matt, can we get just from one location all the data? What, let's say appropriate, maybe 100 meters around it, and put them in one query that.
maybe it's just gut
Because
feel,
that-
but it
that
feels
would be
like,
great.
yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, I was saying it's just gut feel here, but I think that's going to make things more complicated if we say like border on this geolocation. And the reason that I'm thinking this is that all of these devices are basically publishing continually, and then at some point we set up this double publishing, and like that's the point that we're going to have to spot and basically say make sure that we import everything right up into this point. So if we can focus on just one device for that piece of the story, then maybe we can branch out into like just an area. But I'm looking for like a step one here, which this feels like a reasonable step one to me.
Well, I can recommend a sensor that's been very stable, or I can recommend one that's going to be kind of pertinent. The ones in Fukushima have not been stable, but they're the ones that are the most interesting and relevant.
Yeah, let's I think probably proximity to the event is probably higher priority than perfectly stable, so long as it's generally there.
Then either 40 or 70. What one was the one in Tomioka? I don't know what's there now. I don't have the numbers memorized, but I know where 40 is. That's at the church in Odaka.
Is it this one in Tomioka? Looks like with
Yes, that's it.
Naoto? Okay, cool.
Yep. And that's currently point-cast number 9 or 10,009, whatever. And it used to be an N-Gaigi originally.
Gotcha. Looks like it's offline at the moment.
How long's it been off?
Let me check that.
June-ish.
Huh. I phoned him about a month or a month and a half ago and told him it was offline, and he said he would go cycle power on it, but I don't know what happened.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I'll flag that one as well, because I mean, if we can get most of that data and then we just it drops off June this year.
Can you show how? Can you see how far back it goes in there?
Back to the beginning of ingest. It was. Where was it? I lost my tab. Let me just click on this one again. And if I ask it for a 5-year range, should stop like here, I think, is where they've all been cutting off. One moment. Yep.
Yeah, 2017. Okay.
Yeah, that was. I'm pretty sure that was basically when we introduced the ingest publishing for Pointcast. So.
Yeah, and that's got a nice trend line on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's pick that one.
Yeah, I think so.
Like that
That
trend
looks
line.
Yeah, it supports what we want to say.
Right. Well,
when in doubt, find data that supports what you want to, the statement you want to make.
Well, and if we can get back to the previous device, it goes all the way back to like 2012, and it started out at 7 microsieverts an hour. So it was almost an order of magnitude higher than it is now.
Nice.
So who is this just going to live in the next step, or who's going to look at it?
Good question.
Yeah, who can do that?
Sentence. I'd love to say I can, but as you all know,
We'd all love that, Matt.
Well, let's
my time is.
let's first say who has the capabilities to do it, and then we'll figure out who has the time to do it. And I mean, I can assist, but I'm not. This is outside my realm of expertise.
Yeah, from an expertise perspective, I could certainly pull it off. It's a question of whether or not I'll be able to dedicate the time to it.
Okay.
So,
Are you the only one, or can who can jump in, or who needs?
I mean,
to
I think
know
it's
what?
just me and Emery making changes right now. So
Yeah.
Or can Andrew, if he is available?
I don't think Andrew's available.
He's,
No.
for all intents and
Okay.
purposes offline.
Okay.
Similar story
Anybody
with
heard from
Hato.
Benjamin
And
lately?
But maybe Matt, if you give him maybe a guide to Emery and he can work on it, at least give it a
potentially,
try.
yeah.
Emery, how do you feel about that?
I could try, but I cannot promise that I could get it done though.
No, give
Sounds
it
like we have a
It's-
plan.
it's-
Matt will
All
Matt
right.
will mentor Emery, and Emery will do the work.
Something along those lines.
All right.
I mean, we have a couple months, but it's nice to be able to get this done in as much time as then we can also comment on it, right? Like it
Mhm.
gives time for Joe or Peter or Asby or somebody to write an article that says this is what all this means, or here's our interpretation of what this means, or
Mm.
what to look at, right? So it's not just on the 11th.
Yeah.
We're not
Just
looking
drop it
for
right on
having
that
this
date.
done on the 11th. We're looking to have this done like maybe
February
27th or
February
something.
11th.
Yeah, February 11th or something.
Cool.
Let's
Well,
let's
I'll
make
assign us for now.
a soft
and-
deadline of February 11th.
Yeah, let's do that. So it's a full month in order for us to then like dig in and work out some details.
Yeah, and show it to a couple of preview people, and then see if we need to,
Easy types.
Yeah. Do you know if we
believe
have other
it's-
plans? Hold on a
I
second.
I believe, I'm sorry to interrupt, Rob. I think that there in February will be a board meeting. So having
Mhm.
this for a board meeting might be a great thing as well.
I think so.
Does that have a schedule set yet?
I don't know. I mean,
You're the one I would ask.
that I would ask me too. But I think that all the board meetings are the second Tuesday every 3 months. So I'm gonna look up and see. There was meant to be one on December 15th. That's the third Tuesday. That would be February 16th or 9th. February 16th. February 16th.
Excellent.
my
And you've
calendar.
got 5 days from the deadline to the meeting too.
Yeah. One six.
Oh, 1-6, sorry. For some reason I thought I heard 1-5. Cool. So there's that. Honestly, my biggest thing is first off, just how we're going to find it in the massive measurements table. That's like step one. And then get that all imported into some sort of temporary index and then look for overlaps.
So is this something that's going to need to be hand tooled, or is this something that can
Oh
be
yeah.
processized?
I mean, the first one's going to have to be done very much by hand. Like someone's going to
Okay.
have to dig into the tables and write appropriate mapping code to get from one to the other. Once we get the process ironed out, it should be portable to other devices without modification. But actually building the first one to migrate data over is, yeah, someone's going to have code open and running a bunch of data and trying things and seeing how the lines look and maybe trying again. And yeah, it's
Look at that smiling face that's going to be doing that.
Yeah, sounds so exciting.
Emery,
Yeah, I will try.
this
you
will be your
such a boss of this data when you're done with this.
this will be your data science bullet point on your resume.
Matt,
Yeah.
do we still have contact with Phil?
I haven't. No, I think
Because he could help too. I mean, if he has time, because he was quite good also in
Mhm.
getting stuff out of the API that time.
Yeah, I tried contacting him, but he's busy with his bachelor thesis right now, so
Mhm.
So that's-
he doesn't have
that's out.
much time, unfortunately.
So I know I know that January 1st is a big holiday in Japan, yeah?
Mhm.
Pretty much the biggest.
Pretty much the biggest.
From-
And then like so from now until then, it's kind of a stall in terms of like people's obligations.
I wouldn't say that, because a lot of the things we do, a lot of SafeCast activity over the years has been done during holiday times when people that have day jobs can get some free time. So especially people who have busy jobs and no family, they often have a day or two to spare at this time of year.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, I even called
Well,
that out
that-
in my Ruby Kaigi talk, that usually we see our most development activity during holiday periods.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and that used to be me until the kid load increased. Yeah,
Who did
when I
that?
only had like one and one little one, it worked. But now that I have two and one little one, not
Well,
so
this
much.
is a good year because the first is on like Friday, so people don't have to be back to the office until the following Monday. So the the second and third of January could be days to get some time.
I know that I'll be a little away, not that that's helpful, but I guess the question that I have for Emery is, what, if you can figure out and line up your needs, then this would be a good time for that. So I know you have to kind of think about it, and you're like, I didn't say yes, but but I'm just trying to think in terms of like being as productive as possible so that you're not just hung up on waiting for people to get back from somewhere.
Okay. And,
I think the biggest thing is oh, go ahead.
Emery, do you have at the university also people who are interested in this and can maybe help you out? Or
Not really. I'm kind of on my own on this.
no, but do you know people who are interested in? So maybe if you can delegate some work to them, or have them as a quick research, or a professor who is really interested in data research. So
Unfortunately, there is no one right now.
you're the only one. Okay. And at the office also not people at the office from June where you're sitting now are not interested in helping out? Or
They are working on other tasks related to the company. So
I see. Okay.
I'm the only intern working on this project right now.
Okay. Okay, good to hear that.
Matt or anybody else, is there, I mean, we kind of spent the hour or the half hour almost, but is there anything else that needs to be really commented on before, like, I don't know if I'm going to be here next Tuesday.
Nothing
Just
too much. I
FYI.
think based on this conversation, I was thinking maybe we should put down some of this work. There's sort of, Emery's been working on commenting for device stories, which is pretty close. We'll probably wrap that up, but then not worry about attachments, for example. I don't know, the multiple rollovers thing, I think is mostly done. We just needed to try deploying it. And then I think I'll move this one back to just like soon, because it's not a big deal, but some additional indexing in the measurements table, I think would probably save us some money on a database load. So we should probably think about things to like put down, basically, like this one, for example. That way we basically free up cycles to target this. We don't really have a whole lot in the way of people who can actually build things. It's like
So
I said,
does
it's
that
me and
become back burner, or is that like,
and it's soon, not back burner. So like, it's still like something that in theory we should probably pick up before. Like basically when people come into the project, I usually tell them to take a look at what's in like the soon column and pick something off of there rather than go all the way to back burner. This is at least, this keeps it on sort of like the short list. But it's probably not something we want to really focus on now if we're going to want to hit a deadline with this thing, right? Like in my experience, anytime you want to ensure that you hit some sort of a deadline, the best way to do that is to put everything else down. Just do that thing, and then get back to the other stuff once you hit that deadline. So maybe a little bit more work on this just to get Emery's PR like done, because it's halfway done and most of the way there. I could see probably this one, definitely not that one. that can wait. It's no big deal.
yeah, but
this
it's mostly
basically
done.
means this one,
I mean, it
kind
just
of.
seems, no?
Yeah, the last step is a complicated one. I got to figure out some way to basically build images that the Grafana team doesn't provide for us. So
Yeah, I guess I just don't want it to get so cold that then you have to start over. right?
Yeah.
Doesn't work like that?
That's all
Okay,
right.
that's fine.
It's
fine.
like there's value to be had either way, I think.
Is it already at that point?
Yeah, actually, it's fair.
I have a question back to
Because this way we can
this-
basically try to wrap these up and then pick this one up as like the very next thing, and then focus on that. So
Okay. I have to leave now. I have another
Yep.
meeting at 10, but I have to prepare something for that.
I do
So,
too.
have
So
to
was there
sit up
something you wanted to
and-
ask before you break there, Angela, or
I just had
think-
2 questions and
You
they
can
can be
go for it, Rob.
answered in Slack. One is
Okay, cool.
who's reviewing your work on needs review, and then the second one is for the work that Seksham put up. I would like us to, I don't know if there's a to do around that, but it seems like if that can be useful code, at least knowing that we can understand it before he fades off into, like he goes too far away in terms of his association with us. So I don't know if that's a story. I don't know if it's a request or what. So that's just something to think about, since it's not something that I can actually do, but just bringing it up.
Okay. I have to go. Okay.
Cool.
Bye, Rob.
See
Good to
you.
see you.
Rob.
I noted
See
that
you.
there.
Bye
All right. Talk to y'all soon.
Okay, bye.
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 Bye.